Today we will code some problems based on recursion, like the sum of natural numbers, factorial using recursion, Taylor series, Fibonacci series using recursion, and combination formula using recursion. And lastly, we will solve the Tower of Hanoi problem, which is a very interesting problem on recursion. So let's start with the problem of finding the sum of natural numbers. Natural numbers starts with the number 1 and it goes up to infinity, and it is a set of integer values. So today we will try to find the sum of the natural numbers through recursion. Let us assume the argument as 5. So it should print the sum of first 5 natural numbers. So sum should be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Then this comes out to be 15. Now for this problem, we will declare a function, let's say sum, which will take an integer value as its parameter and it will return the sum. So the sum will be obviously an integer value like 15 here. So it will return an integer value, and let's say the name of the function is sum, and it will take an integer value as parameter. Now before writing the code inside this function, let us understand how to implement the concept of recursion on this problem. Let's say the first argument that will be passed from the main function is sum of 5 to print the sum of the first 5 natural numbers. So this will be passed as the argument. At the end of the execution of the program, this sum of 5 call should return the value 15 that will be printed. And this sum of 5, we can say that this is equals to 5 plus sum of 4. Sum 4 will return the sum of first 4 natural numbers, that it will return 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and sum 5 will return the sum of first 5 natural numbers, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So this is very much understood that this value is equals to this value plus this value. So this is how recursion is implemented here. I can say for the value n, we can write this statement as sum of n is equals to n plus sum of n minus 1. This is the formula that we will use to implement recursion in our problems. Recursion must stop at some point, so we must have a breakpoint of this function. Let's write the main function first. So in main, and within that main function, or we will print the value of the final return of from the function that is declared in n is equals to 10. So it will basically print the sum of first 10 natural numbers. So what should be the breakpoint? That if n is less than 1, then it should return n. So I will write if n is less than 1, return n, else it should return this. N is n plus sum of n minus 1. So this is our entire function. So now first trace this function to get some more clarity. Here we have taken 10, but I will show it by taking n is equals to 5. So firstly it will call the function sum with the initial parameter as 5. Now it goes to the sum function. If n is less than 1, so if 5 is less than 1, no, so it will go to the else part and it will return n plus 5 plus sum of 4. Now it will perform sum of 4. Sum of 4 is, if 4 is less than 1, no, so it will return 4 plus sum of 3. If 3 less than 1, no, so it will return 3 plus sum of 2. Next it will return 2 plus sum of 1. It will return 1 plus sum of 0. If 0 is less than 1, yes, so it will return, this function will return 0. So 1 plus 0 is equals to 1, and the value of 1 will be stored here. It will go back to its previous call, that is 2 plus 1, that is equals to 3. The value of 3 will be stored here, will be returned back to here, sum of 2. So 3 plus sum of 2 is equals to 3 plus 3 is equals to 6. The value 6 will be returned to this, returned by this function sum of 3, and this will be equals to 4 plus 6, that is equals to 10, and the value 10 will be returned back by this function sum of 4, and it will give me 5 plus 10 is equals to 15, and the value 15 will be returned back by this call sum of 5. So sum of 5 will return the value 15, so the value 15 will be printed finally. Now let us move on to our IDE and check whether we have written this function correctly or not. Here I will write the function. So int main, no, first we have int sum, and inside sum we will declare the take the parameter as an integer input as n. If n is less than 1, then return n, else return n plus sum of n minus 1. Now let's write the main function. Now let's run this program and see. We have given that n is equals to 5, should print the value 15. Here you can see that the value 15 is coming, so our program is correct. Now let's move on to our next problem. So our next problem is to find the factorial using recursion. You all are familiar with the word factorial. Let's say I have a number 5. So what is the meaning of 5 factorial? So 5 factorial is represented as this, and the factorial 5 means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, now so it will basically give the answer as 120. It's very simple. Recursion means to break the problem into bits and pieces and solve individually. So 5 factorial, we can say that let us declare a function. Let's say this function will return a value, integer value, and fact, this function takes the parameter, integer parameter as n. So this to find the factorial using recursion, we can write the expression as fact of 5. So the initial parameter, this will be equals to 5 into factorial of 4. Factorial 5 will be 5 into 4 into 3 into 1, and factorial 4 will return 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Similarly, if we pass the value n, factorial of n, so it will return n into factorial of n minus 1. So we can write the breakpoint as if n is equals to 1, then return n, else return this, that is n into factorial fact of n minus 1. Okay, Now in the main function, the same thing we will pass. I am not writing the main function again, so it will pass the factorial of, let's say, 5. I want to find the value 5. So let's trace this function and find if this function is giving the right output or not. So firstly, factorial 5 will be called, and 5 is not equals to 1, so it will return 5 into factorial of 4, that is 5 plus 1, and this again will return 4 into factorial of 3, and this should return 3 into factorial of 2, and this should return 2 into factorial of 1. And since this is 1, so if n, I have written here, if n is equals to 1, so it should return n. So this function call we return the value 1, and 2 into 1 is equals to 2, and factorial 2 will return this value, that is 2. Now 3 into 2 is equals to 6, and this factorial 3 will return this value 6, and 6 into 4 is equals to 24, and this 24 will be returned by factorial 4. 24 into 5 is 120, and this value 120 will be returned by this call, that is factorial 5. And finally this will be printed, so we will get the answer as 120. Now let's code this program on IDE. So now let us make another function. Let's say it should have the return type int, and the function name is factorial. It takes integer as parameters. So if n is equals to 1, return n, else it should return the value n into factorial of fact of n minus 1. Okay, and from the main function we will not call the function sum, we will call the function fact. So it should return the value, we should get the output as 120. Let's see, let's run this program. Yes, we got the answer 120, so our program is correct. So this is all for today, and if you find these videos helpful, then please like, share and subscribe. In the next video we will continue our discussion on the examples of recursion. So stay tuned. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.